Hey everybody, welcome to our Windows tutorial series. We're going to start with some basic topics and then move our way gradually up to some more advanced topics. I'm also going to have a series right like this, but for the Mac operating system, so if you're interested, you can check that out when it releases. Also, if you haven't, I would recommend you go check out our How a Computer Works series because that'll help you better understand what all is going on your computer and help you better understand how to use it. So today is about Windows 10. So Windows 10 is a special piece of software called an operating system, or OS for short. The operating system manages hardware and software resources and provides some tools and services. It's the in-between layer of your applications and hardware. So I have a little diagram written on the screen where it shows the hardware at the bottom, the operating system is right on top, then it's your apps, and then it's the user, which would be us in this case. So one thing almost all modern OSs offer is a nice GUI or graphical user interface, sometimes called a GUI. This is all your windows and buttons and icons that make your computer operations more intuitive. In today's video, we'll be getting familiar with this GUI and some of our applications and tools that come with Windows 10. So to start off, the desktop is this whole area here. It can be thought of much like a regular desk in your office. You want to store things you use most often on this. And just like your normal desk, you don't want to store too much stuff where it becomes cluttered or you can't find it easily. So you don't want to clutter your computer desktop either. You want to keep it nice and organized with just the stuff you use most often. And on the desktop, you can right-click on the desktop and bring up a menu with various options you can do, including display settings and creating some new files and folders. If you want to get rid of this menu, you can simply left-click outside of the menu and it'll go away. Next, we're going to look at what is called the taskbar and is located at the bottom of the desktop. It is this bar that spans the bottom of the screen. It is a place where you can pin various programs, and here we see there are 4 programs pinned, and you can also unpin them by, once again, like we did on the desktop, right-clicking, and it'll give us options to unpin from the taskbar and various other options. You can also left-click and drag these programs and rearrange them on the taskbar. Over on the right side of the taskbar, we have the system tray. This includes things such as the date and time, your master volume control, your internet connection status. This little arrow brings up some running services on your computer, and on the far right is some notifications. On the left side, we have what is called the Start button, and this launches what is called the Start menu. So if we click it, left click that is, we can bring up this Start menu. On the left side going down, we have a user's icon that shows which user is logged in. Then underneath that is Documents, Pictures, Settings, and Power and Reset button. In the middle, we have a list of programs on our computer, and these are in alphabetical order. You can scroll down this list of programs, or if you know what the name of your program is, you can click on one of the letters and navigate to the name of that program. If it starts with V, you would click on V, and it'll take you right to the programs that names start with V. On the right side, we have a quick access area where programs can be pinned much like the taskbar, and you can also unpin these by right-clicking, and various other options will come up as well. You can also click and drag the programs around or the apps around to where you want them. Right next to the Start button is the search bar, and this allows you to search your computer. Although it's not always the most efficient way, it is a very convenient way to search your computer quickly. Now let's talk about some programs, and let's talk about File Explorer. It's a built-in program to navigate your file system and to help you organize and store your programs in various locations on your hard drive. So File Explorer is this folder icon, and if you hover over it, you'll see the name pops up above it. So you can left-click on it, and it'll launch this nice graphical way of viewing your file system. It uses folder icons, or sometimes known as directories. And by the way, next video will be in more detail how to use File Explorer and how to organize our files. This window has several options up in the right-hand corner. It is from left to right: minimize, maximize, and close. So if you hit the minimize, it'll make the window disappear from your screen. But down by the File Explorer icon on our taskbar, you'll see a little bar. That means there's an active window. We can either click on that active window, or we can click on the icon to bring it back up. The Maximize button will expand the window to fill your whole screen. If you want to bring it back to its normal size, you can hit the Maximize button again. And once you're done with the program, you can simply hit the X button and it'll close your application. Next, let's look at a program called Task Manager. This program helps you manage processes on your computer. Now, Task Manager is not pinned to my taskbar, and so I'm going to try searching it with the search bar, and you see it pops up, so you can either go up and click it, or you can hit enter on your keyboard. It'll normally start off like this, and you won't see much, but you can click the More Details button, and it'll bring up this more detailed view of the apps running on your computer. It'll show you the current apps running. In this case, we just have Task Manager, and it'll show you programs running in the background. You can also view performance, which shows you different hardware and how it's performing, and various other information about the hardware connected to your computer. You can also view startup, which is some startup programs that run every time your computer reboots or restarts. And there's various other details and information you can see in Task Manager, but we're going to leave that for now. So we're going to hit the X button to close the application. Next, we're going to look at a program called Notepad, and we're also going to use the search bar to find this program. This is a basic text editing program. You can read text files with it, and you can write your own. So I can say, "Hello, everyone," and I could save that to the file, or I could decide I don't want it and close out and not save. Next, we're going to look at what is called a web browser, and Windows 10's web browser is called Edge, and it's this little blue icon pinned to your taskbar. So I left click it, it'll open this web browser where you can search a web address or just Google some information you want. And lastly, we're going to look at a program called Command Prompt, or CMD for short. So if I just type CMD in the search bar, you'll see Command Prompt comes up. One thing to notice is Command Prompt launches down here on the taskbar, but since it is not pinned, when I close it out, it disappears. That is one of the advantages of pinning a program to the taskbar. So I'm going to bring that back up, and now all the icons here, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to pin to taskbar. Now when I X out the program, it'll stay there, so I can easily left click and launch the program again. Now, Command Prompt is often very intimidating to people who've never seen it, but basically it's just a textual way to interact with your computer, and it allows you to run some more detailed commands or more powerful commands that you can't run through the graphical user interface. So to recap, we talked about the desktop and what it's used for. We talked about how you can right click on things to get more details and commands. We talked about the taskbar and programs that can be pinned to it. We also talked about the system tray with your date and time and various other information. We talked about the start menu, that you can find programs and also some more pinned programs in the quick access. We talked about the search bar to search your operating system. And we also talked about some built-in programs like File Explorer for navigating your file system, and Notepad for text, Edge for web browsing, and CMD or Command Prompt for running some more detailed commands. We also talked about Task Manager, which allows you to manage the processes running on your computer. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. It sure means a lot to me. And you can leave a comment below with any ideas you want me to talk about in this series, and I'll see if I can get to them.